Welcome to Stop Wasting Your Wine, a wine review podcast where we waste our wine so you don't have to. On this episode, we review
a red wine from Italy.
Before we do anything else, Joel, what are we drinking today?
Yes, today we're drinking the Ruffino Riserva Ducale Chianti Riserva. This is from 2020, and this is 80% Sangiovese, 20% Merlot, also some Cabernet Sauvignon in there, and according to the Ruffino website, some complementary grapes, which I can only assume are grapes that just make you feel so good as you're drinking them. That's what I'm hoping for. So
good vibes in this glass.
That's exactly, yes. So obviously from Chianti, and this is a 14% ABV, and we picked this up we had to do some calculations, convert the Canadian dollars to the US dollars. In both locations, we paid the same amount, a little over $21.
Let's give it a first taste, a first smell, and see what we're dealing with here.
Now, I have just been eating poutine
like you do
all day. So My palate is absolutely wrecked. But let's see what we can do here.
That's hilarious.
Tastes like wine.
All right, Joel, why don't you start us off so Colin doesn't take all the good words? What are you getting on the nose?
So, I think right off the bat, young, fresh kind of red fruits, maybe a little bit of like a floralness in there. But yeah, a lot of, like to me, just really young, like a little cherry, a little strawberry.
Don't hate that.
What do you got, Colin?
Yeah, I think Joel actually took all of the words this time.
Took all the good words.
The only thing I would add is I'm getting a little bit of earthiness in the form of mushrooms, and there's some oak influence on this one as well. So you get a little bit of those baking spices in there on the nose.
Yeah, I got nothing to add for the nose. So let's take a sip and see what we got. I'm gonna jump in because I didn't have anything on the nose. I do really like the balance of this structure of the wine. Like it's a little bit tannic, but really not very tannic at all. It's a little bit there when it has, to me, a pretty consistent finish all the way through. It's not like too thin. It's not like super lingery. It's just a sip. You get what it's bringing, and then it goes away. What about you, Colin? What are you getting?
Yeah, definitely all those red fruits. Really nice red fruits, and they're fresh, super fresh.
Yeah.
Definitely get a little bit of that earthiness more on the back end, though. I think it's like post-sip earthiness more than it is. It's really like fruit. And then you get some of that earthy mushroomness on the end. You also get some of that vanilla, a little bit of those baking spices. I really like the finish on this wine because after the sip, you just get like kind of red fruit for days. It's actually a pretty nice finish for a $21 bottle of wine. I'm actually, for the price, shocked at the finish. So, good start.
Yeah. What about you, Joe?
The only other thing that I'll call out a little bit, first of all, totally like as advertised on everything that we called out, and totally agree with you guys. The only other thing I'll call out is like a little bit of maybe like a plum, but just a whisper of that. I know Cabernet Sauvignon was kind of the second most, or maybe was it Merlot that was the second most? I don't know. There's some amount of cab in there. I don't know if it's a little peak.
I think it specifies it's like 20% Merlot cab mix.
Yeah. So, but that's the only other thing that's coming out. The rest is just like we're saying, super refreshing, super, fresh fruit.
I will say one thing that I want to call out is that we know this is a massively produced wine, and I'm not getting any of the artificial flavors or any of those like red flags that we have gotten when we've done some of the, Castillo del Diablo or some of the Carmen like that are super overproduced, and you're like, oh, there's some like oak artificialness or something else going on. This doesn't have any of that, so that's exciting.
Yeah, I think some of that has to do with the Reserva level too. In Chianti Classico, at the Reserva level, you're going to find some more strict rules and regulations on how and what you can produce with your wine. So they try to build some quality in just based on how you're allowed to manufacture the wine in the region. So I think we might be seeing some of that here.
So we've really had a chance to air this wine out. Let's see if anything new is bubbling up. Anything new on the nose, gentlemen? You can just jump in.
I wouldn't say new, but I will say It's really come together, I would say. This is a wine that's not afraid of a little bit of air. I think all of the structural components along with the fruit components have harmonized a little bit, because before you were kind of getting the fruit flavors and then you're kind of getting the structure, but now it's one really nicely composed sip. So I don't know if I'm getting any new flavors, but definitely one you want to decant for a little bit.
Definitely. The thing that I'll just call out is that earthiness, I think, showing really, really nicely now. It was always kind of there, and it was almost, to your point, too, I'm just going to kind of reiterate what you just said, but it was kind of like there was the fruitiness and then the earthiness there as well. And now I feel like the earthiness has risen up to the fruitiness level to find a nice balance, but that's the piece that has changed so much to me, is that's what's risen up a little bit in the profile here.
I'm right there with you guys. Like I'm just like very pleasantly surprised. I feel like the aroma has opened up quite a bit. The structure is just like really balanced and really enjoyable. This is a 14% alcohol wine, and I'm not getting the super burny alcohol. Like it's there, but it's part of the structure for like a big brand that you can find in a lot of places. This is a solid glass.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and then I'll just add, just in general with Sangiovese, you're gonna want to decant it. It's usually big tannin, a lot of acid, so the grape in general is not afraid of a little bit of air. So feel free to let this one sit out at any level. Really, Chianti is just, or Sangiovese is a decanting grape for sure.
Well, excellent. Let's get into the review.
Yeah, but did they like it? It's time for the review.
All right, guys, we gave it a try. We learned some stuff. We played some games. We tried it again. We gave it about an hour to air out, to like really expand. How are we feeling? Joel, this was your wine, so you can go last. Colin, would you like to kick it off, or you want me to go first?
Sure. No, I'll go first. I don't mind.
Go for it.
I'm not going to lie. When I saw this was a Ruffino wine, I was a little skeptical, only because Ruffino is one of those brands. It's a grocery store wine in general. You see them everywhere. But I will say I am pleasantly surprised by this wine. It's super tasty. I'm really enjoying it. I think there's enough flavors there. I think you get some of those primary flavors with the fruit, some of those secondary flavors with that oak influence, which I think is really nice. So, I'm enjoying the sip, and I'm putting this one on the kitchen table. I think this is an easy kitchen table one and an absolute must share. If you can find this, and if you're in a pinch, say, and they do have this in a grocery store, buy this, because this is totally worth it. Even at $21, I don't mind paying $21 for this. I think the value is a home run at $21. So must share kitchen table wine for me, without a doubt.
Yeah, I'm right there with you, Colin. Like, I got people coming over tomorrow. I have half a bottle of this left right now. Who knows how much will be left in 30 minutes, but if it's still there, I'll be excited to like bring it out for folks. Yeah, I actually, what I want to do is we're so excited about the Chianti Classico from St. Giorgio, and has stayed, I think, in at least one wine fridge.
Still in mine.
I would love to get them next to each other. Maybe that'd be a future episode. We put this and that next to it, because they're very similar price point. I have to imagine the Family Cassiano, St. Giorgio, is probably also another very large producer. So I would love to actually get them one for one next to each other and really see where they're at, because this is surprisingly, a really pleasant drinker. So I'm right there with you. Kitchen table will definitely be a wine I grab in the future when I just want to, bring something to share with others. Definitely a must share. Joel, how you feeling about your pick? Your last minute Canadian, just like throwing darts at the wall. How you feeling?
Relieved is how I'm feeling.
Yeah,
because this was a pick out of necessity, to be completely honest with you, and probably one that, just based off of the name, maybe, I wouldn't have suggested before. And I think this was a nice little stroke of luck that we came across this one and gave this one a chance, because I'm right there with you guys. Kitchen table, for sure. Mm-hmm. So thank you to Ruffino for making a nice bottle here. I do want to just go ahead and call out. I'm going to go ahead and show the label on here. I mean, this is
I like the label.
elevated Ruffino. Again, this is the Riserva Ducale Chianti Classico here. So, definitely the elevated version from Ruffino. But yeah, just really nice, really enjoyable, and love the fact that it's, still affordable, and as we've proven, still accessible. So yeah, kitchen table, happily.
All right, folks. There you have it. Joel, well done, man. Just emergency wine success. Clearly not a waste of your wine.